Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing how I used to do my makeup back in 2016 versus now in 2022. My makeup style definitely has changed a lot over the years. I feel like all my techniques and everything, even from the products I used to use, has changed a lot. So I thought it'd be fun to compare the two sides, and as you can see, it's super different. But I thought it'd just be fun to compare. So with that being said, if you guys wanted to see tutorials for both sides and see how I used to do my makeup versus my current routine, then please continue watching. So on this side it's going to be my 2016 makeup style, and then on this side is going to be my 2022 current go-to makeup style. So I already started off with putting in my contacts because these days I always wear contacts. I feel like you won't really see me not wearing contacts, but back then I used to never wear contacts because I don't actually wear contacts to see. I wear it more for the style, for the color. Yeah, and back in 2016, I was too scared to put in contacts. I always wanted to try it, and I never thought I would get to where I am now. Like, I just pop them on like it's nothing. But I am wearing the Oland's Scandi Hazel. You know, typically I wear contacts that are really natural looking. Like, I don't think it looks too crazy of a difference. But yeah, we're already starting off with that difference, and I'm really excited to start putting my makeup on because I just think every single step of my routine has changed 180. So it'll be really nice to like see it compared like side by side. So with that being said, let's hop into the base first. So back then I was really into all matte, pore filling, just really one-dimensional, which honestly I still kind of love, but I guess nowadays I don't mind a bit of a glow, but back then I was like, no, just matte. So for primer, I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. poreless putty primer. I just have this mini size here. This will fill in my pores and give me more of like a smooth canvas. But for my current side, I do like to apply something a little bit more hydrating. So I'm going in with my Good Molecules silicone-free priming moisturizer. I'm just gonna apply that to my cheeks. I'm not gonna apply too much product onto my forehead just because, you know, I have bangs now, so I don't need to apply too much there. And then I also like to go in with like a glowy primer as well, and I've been using this one from Rare Beauty. It's just like a deluxe sample size. It's their Always an Optimist Illuminating Primer Base, and I've been testing it out. You know, I've been testing out Rare Beauty. I want to do a video on it. Oh, that's a little too much, but it's okay. This is just gonna give me more of, you know, a bit of a glow rather than like this side is just not so much of a glow. As for foundation, I used to only wear full coverage foundation. I used to love this Hourglass Vanish Stick foundation. It's pretty full coverage. It's in the shade Sand, and this is actually the only foundation I have in my collection. Everything else I have in my collection now is like a tinted moisturizer, it's a cushion, it's, you know, tinted sunscreen. It's something of that sort. So it's crazy to see like this is the only foundation I have left, and honestly this is pretty old and it's a bit too dark for me, hence why I don't really use it anymore, but I'm just gonna go in with it anyway. And I actually used to be a lot more like tan. I used to go out a lot. I used to go out to the beach, bathe in the sun, but now like that's something like I wouldn't do at all. Like, it's so yellow, oh my gosh. I don't know if that's like really showing up on camera, but I'm gonna blend that in with my brush. Honestly, maybe it's not a bad shade on me because I think once I go in with concealer and everything. But yeah, that's a really nice coverage. I low-key really like how that foundation looks, and I'm reminded why I used to love this foundation so much because I don't know, my skin looks pretty good right now. And then for my current style, as you guys may know, I literally only wear tinted moisturizers, tinted sunscreens of that sort. So I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. I'm wearing the shade 24N. So again, I'm just testing this out. I've been wearing it for the past few days, and at first I didn't actually really like it, but now I do. I'm like loving it more the more I use it. So I'll use my fingers to rub that in. You can kind of see the shade difference here. And I'll just use my sponge to really blend that into my skin. So you can see like the coverage is just so much different. Like, you still can see my skin underneath on this side. And then for concealer, I'm just going in with my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I feel like this is probably the one step that really hasn't changed. Like maybe I use a little bit less concealer, but I think like back then I would probably go like this under my eyes. I'm not gonna spot conceal, there's not really much to, and I think it's just too light against the foundation. So nowadays I will put some here, and then I'll use more concealer than foundation. And I'm just gonna let that set in place for a little bit, and I'm gonna go in with my cream contour on my current side. This is the NYX Cosmetics So Soft in Terra. I like to take a little bit and I like to go on my jawline because 2020 me has gained a bit of weight, where 2016 me, you know, it's funny because back then, 2016, I was probably a really I was at my ideal weight, to be honest. But at the time, I was just not happy. I was insecure, and how I feel about my body now is exactly how I felt about my body back then. But back then, I was a really good weight, you know. I was a really happy weight, but I think it's more just like, it doesn't matter what weight you are, it's about your mindset and it's how you view yourself. So, you know, I mean, I guess I haven't really changed much in that aspect, where I still, you know, not confident in my body, still got body dysmorphia, but I just need to carve out my chin a little bit. So now let's go ahead and blend out this concealer. And then onto powder. So I used to just go all out with baking. Like I said, I loved a matte base. Being matte was my top priority, okay? Like I needed to be flat matte. So we're gonna bake this side. I'm gonna be using the Sigma Soft Focus Setting Powder in Vanilla Bean. I'll take my little sponge here and I'll just go in and bake. I don't even know how to bake. I don't even remember how to bake. So I guess I kind of just went like this. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like if you do your makeup how I'm doing it on this side, I think it looks, honestly, I think it looks great. It's just preference, makeup style just has changed. I still think this looks amazing. I think a full glam, baking, the whole thing is beautiful, okay? It's just these days, I think it's just makeup style has changed, and who knows, maybe I'll go back to this makeup style. Like maybe I should bake more, because damn, I kind of love that. Okay, Sigma. Oh my gosh, guys, I might actually go back to baking. This powder is not clinging onto any dry patches. Like I've used this powder, but not in this like baking capacity. Maybe I'm not really baking because I'm not leaving it on, am I? So, oh wow, wow. Ooh, this powder. Look how smooth I look. Well, I also did go in with pressed powder as well, so I'm just using my Bite Beauty Changemaker Medium 1. I would always just take a bit of pressed powder on a brush and just like dab it in around my face where I didn't really bake with, you know? And then for my current side, what I've been doing is just taking a translucent pressed powder. This one is the NYX Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores pressed powder, and I'll take it on a puff and I'll just press that into my skin. Actually, once you like mattify everything down, I think both sides look pretty good. And then just the same thing with that same Bite Beauty powder, just like to tap that in, making sure I'm setting that cream contour as well. I'm gonna zoom you in because we are gonna do the brows. Okay, this is where everything's gonna change. I'm gonna put a photo of reference here of how I used to do my brows in like 2016, 2017, and you know what's so sad is this is like where a lot of my old videos got a lot of views. So probably like my most viewed videos on my channel, I will have these looking brows. And again, if you do your brows really thick, it's beautiful. I honestly think it is. But on me, I just think they were just a little bit too big for my face shape, for like just for everything, honestly. They were just like a little too big. I'm gonna be using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, which I don't think I was using in 2016, but maybe like 2017, 2018, so it's still a favorite. And then, yeah, I've been using ABH Brow Powder. I obviously got a new one now, but I've been using that for years and years. But I used to just always like start at the base, and back then I would do an arch. I kind of have plucked my brows to like have more of a straighter shape. Okay, maybe I won't go as thick. It kind of like low-key like scares me, but I'm gonna have to try my best to give you the image of like what my brows used to be. I mean, they're pretty straight, but like I think back then I had more of an arch. But let's move on to my current brow. So again, I do the same thing, right? I just go underneath here and I'll work my way up, just building on from that line so I don't get too thick, because as you guys can tell, I don't have much brow hair, so I can get carried away really quickly. What a difference. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating. I probably like went easy. Like, it used to be actually way thicker. But now moving on to the eyes, I'm starting on my 2016 side with eye primer, which actually back then I probably did use a concealer for my eye primer, but I kind of just remembered that now, so that's okay. But the palette we're gonna use today is the Flower Nose the Canelli's palette. I thought I would use the same palette for both eyes so you could see what I would do back then versus now. So I was really contemplating on which kind of look I wanted to do for 2016. It was between a smoky eye or a half cut crease, because I did these two looks a lot. They definitely were my go-to, but I decided to go for a smoky eye just because this is what I would wear going out. I feel like half cut crease is what I would wear for filming. I think if you guys have been following me since back then, I did a lot of half cut creases. I mean, that was all the rage. If you could do a half cut crease, technically you were good at makeup, is the thing. But I thought I'd do a smoky eye since this was the look that I would typically wear if I was going out. I also used that ColourPop blending brush as well, which I remember I used to use that brush all the time, but I technically would do a really intense smoky eye every time I'm going out. And now that I'm looking at it, I do think it's pretty intense, and I think it actually makes my eyes look really small. I think it's good for an occasion, like I love a good smoky eye. But we also move into eyeliner, and I used to line my entire lash line. I used to use a lot of gel liner, but I don't have gel liner anymore, so I'm just using a liquid liner. I would line the entire lash line, which I don't do anymore, and I'll create my wing with just the liquid liner alone, and I don't even smoke it out. I didn't smoke it out. It was just a very sharp, intense like liquid liner on its own. I would also tightline my entire bottom waterline with a dark brown eyeliner. And then the most craziest part is probably the lashes, like House of Lashes Iconic Lights. I used to love these so much and I used to wear them all the time. And tell me why I'm like struggling to put these on. Like, it's just so hard to put on lashes now, because I feel like for the past 3 months I haven't been really wearing lashes at all when I used to wear them all the time. But that is pretty much how I used to do my eye makeup going out back in like 2016, 2017. But then moving on to the 2022 side, I will be using the eye primer to start off once again, and just using the same palette. This is my go-to look with this palette. I feel like it's a little bit more like Douyin inspired, more like Asian makeup style rather than like the smoky eye and lashes. So I feel like my makeup style has really changed from Western to more Asian makeup style. I feel like this technique just opens up my eyes a lot more, and I've become obsessed with glitter, so you're gonna see me use those shimmers and really highlight that. And I just love how this eye look looks on my eye shape. I think it really does just open up my eyes a lot more, especially like comparing it side by side as well. But for eyeliner, all I do is just tightline with my brown eyeliner, and then I'll extend the wing out ever so slightly at the outer edge, and I'll smoke that little wing out with brown eyeshadow. And that's all I do. It's so tiny, so small, but it just elongates my eye shape. And then for lashes, I've recently gotten a lash lift, so I haven't really been wearing any falsies, like not even natural lashes. I've just been applying mascara to the top to the bottom, and I'm good to go. And that is literally how my eye look looks. So I just let my bangs down. I'm only gonna keep it for my current side because I currently have bangs. And then on this side, I just clipped it back, I kept the middle parting. I know I just look really crazy with my big forehead. So we're gonna move on to cheeks now, starting at my 2016 side. I loved bronzer. I'll be using the NYX Cosmetics Sculpting Powder Bronzer in Slip. I feel like everybody back then just also loved bronzer too. These days, I do not wear much bronzer, so I'm only gonna be applying it to this side, which honestly, like, I really do like this side. And then for blush, even back then I still love blush. I've always love blush. So I'm gonna go in with my Flower Nose Unicorn blush in the shade number 5, Unripe Peach. I've kind of always been like a blush girl. Like I've always loved a good blush, but I've always liked a matte blush, so this one is perfect. Honestly, this side of my skin I actually really love. I think that Sigma powder is gonna be my new favorite. Like I'm gonna have to whip that out and start using that more. And then just to keep things a little bit similar, I'm gonna use the same blush on this side, but I like to focus it like up here, like almost into my eyeshadow rather than like on my apples on my cheeks. Then let's move on to highlighter, taking my Fuego highlighter. I love this highlighter back then too. This highlighter is really old. I mean, I'm sure all of us back then loved a good beaming highlight, so this is a good chance to get to use this highlighter to its full capacity. Like I'm sure we all like face turned on a little bit of glow. Like, oh, that cheek right there is giving me 2016. But also I need to take this onto my brow bone. I used to always pop something on my brow bone, but for nowadays I only apply it to the tip of my nose. Like usually I'll use my finger and I'll apply it here and then on the bridge. But finally onto the lips. I think back then I was really into liquid lipsticks. I think a lot of us were. I was also really into the ColourPop Luxe lipsticks as well, but I thought I would use a liquid lipstick to really just to really give the vibe. So I'm gonna go in with this one. It's a new one for me. It's from Too Faced. It's their Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Sell Out. This one's actually a really comfortable matte liquid lipstick. It's not a bad one at all. Then for this side, since we have a pink lip, I'll do somewhat of a pink lip. I'm taking the ColourPop Glowing Lip. This one is like a really hydrating pigmented lip balm slash lipstick. And then to just top it off, I'm taking my Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly Gloss in the shade Spicy, and I like to apply that to the inner rim of my lip. Alright, so here is the comparison between my makeup back in 2016/2017 versus now in 2022. Again, I just want to emphasize there is no wrong way of doing your makeup. I think it's all just personal preference, and I'm really not hating on how I used to do my makeup. I honestly want to bring back some of those techniques and apply it to my current routine. But with my current routine, I really like how it looks on my features, and I think it's just a little bit more subtle with, you know, growing up and everything. It's just what I like now. But again, I'm not like hating on any techniques or certain ways to do your makeup. It's just a good comparison to see my makeup journey and growth. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video as well, because I know some of you guys were with me back in 2016. So this is sort of like the evolution of my makeup. I had so much fun filming this and just comparing the two. But yeah, that is pretty much how I did my makeup back then versus now. Let me know what you guys think down below. I would love to hear your opinion. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching as always. I love you, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!